Okay, working with Horvath Market. This is a good example to allow us to see the anatomy of a project. So let's take a look at what we did. First, as you read through the project, as you read through the case, pull out all the information, the facts from the case. The fact that we're paying the driver $9 an hour. The fact that the truck lease is $300 per month. The fact that the insurance is $200 a month. And of course, the fact that he thinks that he can do 6 deliveries per hour. We also, in looking at the case, pull out the idea that what he's trying to find is the profit that he can get from this business setup based on the price that he charges, which tells us that we want the income statement. So we build an income statement model here. And then finally is the idea that what is it that we're asking him to put in? And then because he doesn't know what to charge for a delivery fee, that's the input we use to drive the model. We say, if you give us an input, we'll tell you what the gross profit is. And I've already built this one, but let's go ahead and build it again so we can get an idea of what was going on here. So the facts of the case, as we said, were the driver pay, which was $9 per hour. The lease for the delivery truck was $300 per month. The insurance, which runs $200 per month. And finally, the number of deliveries that he thinks he can make an hour. So we'll say deliveries 6 per hour. Okay, so these are the facts of my case. And I highlight them in green to make it clear what they are. Now, as I read the case, I realized that it was an income statement model. So in working backwards on an income statement, we have gross profit. And gross profit is equal to total expenses subtracted from, and on this particular model, we don't have cost of goods sold, so we'll just say from revenue. So gross profit is equal to revenue minus total expenses. And my expenses are, let's take a look. We have driver's salary, and I'd like to figure out driver's salary, but I know he makes $9 an hour, but I don't know the amount of time that takes. So this is where my assumptions come into play. I'll make an assumption about the number of days per month that we deliver. So days per month, the assumption would be 20. And then I'll make an assumption also about the number of hours a day that we deliver. So hours per day of 8. That's another assumption. And since they're assumptions and not facts from the case, I'll code them differently. I'll make them red. Now I can figure out driver's salary. Driver's salary is equal to the amount that we pay the driver per hour times the days per month times the hours per day. Now, strictly speaking, we would also be paying the employer contribution to the driver in taxes and other expenses, but just to keep the model simple, we'll step past that. The next expense would be the truck lease. Now notice, I'm not putting any numbers directly into the income statement part of my model. I'm merely referring to the facts and the assumptions and later the inputs of the case. And the reason for that is that if things need to change, if the person that's using this has decided, oh, I found a cheaper truck for $220 a month, they don't need to go in and find where in the case those numbers are used. They can just change them all in one place and have them change automatically. But let me change that back to 300. And the final expense is the insurance. Now the insurance, of course, is $200 a month. Now we come to revenue. Now generally speaking, revenue is always equal to price times quantity. My quantity I should be able to figure out, because I know that I can do 6 deliveries per hour, and I know that we're working 20 days per month and 8 hours a day. So my quantity, or number of deliveries made, would be 6 times 20 times 8. And to get revenue, I need price to multiply times quantity. And my price, and it says he doesn't know how much to charge for a delivery fee. My price is one of my inputs. So I'm going to go ahead and set that as an input. Let me tighten up my model a little here. And revenue is equal to price times quantity. Now, at whatever price that I set, and expenses should be the total of my expenses. So at whatever price I set, if I say $2 per delivery, I will know that the most he can do is lose $20 a month. But if I set $4 per delivery, the most he can do is make $1,900 a month. And so this is the basics of a model that we will continue into even when we use larger models. We document the facts, and we put them in an easily found place. We document the assumptions, and we also put them in a place that's easy to find, and we document the inputs that we're expecting the user to make. And then the rest of the model is driven from there. There are no numbers directly within my model. Now, if you're using floor or some function like that that's rounding up or rounding down, and you want to say the number of decimal places you want to round, it's okay to use that kind of number. But we don't use any factual numbers in the case. We don't have 8 hours per day or 20 days per month or the amount of the truck lease or any of that directly in the case. All of that are included in these data fields around the edges.